Good afternoon. Happy Friday. My name's Caitlin, Customer Success Manager here in SONAR, and welcome back to WithSONAR. This webinar is designed to help explore tools and use cases to enhance your overall SONAR experience. Last week, we went over our tickerized lane search and our seasonally adjusted moving average to help you dive deeper into those difficult lanes, especially as we go into the holiday weeks. This week, I'm going to show you our new landing page within SONAR, which is our executive dashboard. Let me share my screen. Alrighty, so this tool is going to provide an instant high-level view of the freight market, which is going to be a great tool to have as we go into the new year to really help level set those expectations by having all the insights you need to report to customers or leadership all in one place. So at the top, I'm going to start off with our volume and demand overview. So we will have an easy signal beside it. Is it bullish, bearish? Is it kind of somewhere in the middle to give you an easy pulse on what is currently happening from a volume aspect. So we'll break out current conditions within a quick read paragraph, and then we're going to give you an overview from truckload, intermodal, ocean, and how those are shifting right at the top. So you can easily see if there's any shifts in the mode that you operate in, or if you want to dive deeper within any of these modes, you can click on the cards and go into a separate dashboard to get additional insights. The charts below are going to show you volume broken down by mode, and it's going to give you the average monthly percent change for the last year. So on the left-hand side, you can see here how volume is tracking from ocean to truckload to intermodal all in one place and how those have the percent change in the last year. Then on the right-hand side, we are breaking down the truckload volumes by specific trailer type. So you can see if any of the modes that you're operating in are having significant increases or decreases in that volume. So this is great to monitor any significant shifts from that first leading indicator on the ocean side to your specific truckload mode that you operate in frequently. Now to the far right, we are highlighting any critical impacts that could have an effect on the market that you need to be aware of. So anything from truckload rates from a spot and contract perspective to ocean to, Fed cutting interest rates in December. All of these could have an effect on the overall truckload market. So great to just see at first glance what's going on that could be affecting your business. Now below that, we have our key market drivers. This is going to be the daily watch email that you're already receiving on a daily basis to your email. We will break that out here so you can easily access it. And also, if you hover over any of these titles, you can click on it and drill into that end to see if you want to look at tender lead time and tender rejections within a chart, but you didn't really know how to get there previously. You can now easily click on that here to view the data set. Same with coverage guide. So the daily tip, which is designed on a daily basis to help enhance, how you're utilizing SONAR, maybe some things you don't know about, easily click on here and you can go to coverage guide. Now, the next piece that we're going to cover within this dashboard is going to be rates and capacity. So again, we are giving you that easy to read, bullish, bearish, or somewhere in the middle, just to give you that quick pulse. We'll also give that quick read paragraph for rates and capacity conditions. And then we'll also break that down for truckloads. So what are rejections and ultimately capacity? How are they shifting in this market? And then a quick little summary as well. Then we have spot rates, contract rates, and intermodal rates to see what's happening in the intermodal space if you operate heavily there, or let's say, intermodal just has rates severely decreasing, and that in turn could take some of that market share away from your truckload piece. So good to be aware of all pieces of the puzzle. And you can also click on these cards and again, dive deeper into those data sets, pull up the charts, really educate yourself on those conditions. Now, the charts below these cards are going to give you more insight into the long-term trends. So how are rejections tracking broken down by trailer type? So you can see van, reefer, and flatbed and how those rejections are moving. You also have the ability to toggle this over to spot rates. So you can see spot rates on a national level broken down by mode, and again, keep track of those movements. We'll also show you spot and contract rates on a national level. So again, just high level trends, see how the market as a whole is moving. And you can also toggle this to intermodal, again, to keep track. One, if you already operate in that space, but if not, seeing how that's trending so you know how it's going to affect you in the truckload space. We all know as intermodal gets cheaper, if your freight's not as time sensitive, shippers may favor that mode, especially if they have a pretty consistent provider that they're working with. Okay, this map to the very far right, this is monitoring those weekly change in rejections. So market shaded in blue are going to be those that are having a significant increase in the change of rejections. The market shaded in red are going to be those that are having a decrease in that change in rejections. So good to see if markets you operate in are having, a severe increase in rejections, capacity is going to be tightening up, your rates are going to be higher, or if those are dropping back down and you can work to make up some of that margin. You can also click this drop down if you would rather monitor, volume changes or those spot rates broken down by trailer type. So you can easily see that while you're looking at other market conditions. Now, the third piece of the puzzle is going to be those economic indicators to really tie in all pieces of the market, what is going on from that first look. And you have it all in one place again. So we'll start off with this logistics manager index. So these indices are going to be baselined at 50. So anything above 50 is going to be expansionary, and anything below 50 would be a decreasing for the indice. We've easily broke it out by monthly increases and monthly decreases. So you can easily see, okay, costs are starting to go down in the last month, capacity, utilization, all trending down. However, warehouse capacity, transportation prices, and inventory levels are going up. So I need to keep an eye on those and how they could affect my network. If you continue to scroll down, then we have more of those economic indicators. So some of those key indices that we have available within SONAR will give you, again, the brief overview, but we're also going to tell you how these are changing, the brief overview again, so kind of help understand what this number is doing with that movement and what it means. And then we have the charts to allow you to dive deeper, see long-term how they've been trending, to see if there's anything out of the norm that you need to be aware of. So the first chart here on the left, we're looking at those housing starts and building permits and how they've moved in the last year to get an overall sentiment for more of the housing market. And in turn, this gives you insight to, okay, that first leading indicator, how is this going to affect, my truckload market, especially with flatbed? Is there anything showing signs that this is moving in a better direction? You can also toggle this to look at some more inflationary data sets. So get more insight into those consumer sentiments again, and how that's changed as well. So this is looking at that percent increase for the last year. So looks like overall producer prices going up about 3% and that CPI index going up about 2%. So seeing that those are both trending up and getting ahead of that, knowing what that means from a consumer sentiment. And then the chart on the right here is monitoring those manufacturing indices. So again, these are going to be baselined at 50. So 50 is going to be right in the middle. Anything above that would be expansionary. And then anything below that would be a decreasing for these indices. So again, with manufacturing, keeping an eye on those and how it's trending for that leading indicator for the truckload market. So really all of these are going to be great leading indicators for the transportation market and the overall economy. So if you know your book of business is heavily influenced by either manufacturing, housing, consumer sentiment, or consumer purchasing, great to keep an eye on these and how they're moving in the market. Now, the last thing within this dashboard is going to be the Action Center. And this is where you can easily pull out those additional tools that you have available. So our critical events, which is going to be real-time weather for the entire world. Great as we go into the winter months, especially Q1 is huge for snowfall and getting ahead of that, seeing if any roads are shut down. Great tool to utilize as we go into the new year. Our rate intelligence tools, so that single lane spot pricing, so real-time market rates and market conditions to really help get ahead of those shifts in the market. And then if you're trying to expand your intermodal knowledge or just dive deeper into some intermodal indices, we have a whole dashboard around that as well. And then our SEI, which is our RFP tool. This one would be an add-on from our regular subscription. So if that's something you're interested in exploring, just reach out to your account manager. But overall, that is the executive dashboard. This dashboard is available for all SONAR users. So whether you're tracking trends, preparing for those customer combos, or making some operational decisions, this dashboard is going to provide the intelligence you need to make decisions with confidence. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at cs@gosonar.com or your account manager. We would love to talk through this with you further. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of WithSONAR. As always, if you have any requests for specific tools you would like to see, or if you have questions, you can leave those in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you'll come and hang out with me next time and have a great weekend. Thanks.